The chapter opened with a massive purple dungeon gate looming in the skies above Seoul. Outside the Korean Hunter Association building, a hunter in an orange jacket stared anxiously at the gate, his mind heavy with unease. He knew it would open within a few days, and as a B-rank hunter, he couldn't afford to let his guard down. While walking away, still lost in thought, someone suddenly bumped into his shoulder. Irritated, he turned to glare at the stranger. "What the hell?" he snapped, only to find himself face to face with a towering man radiating an intimidating presence. The stranger's terrifying yellow eyes glowed faintly, sending chills down his spine. Other hunters nearby noticed the confrontation and began whispering among themselves. Some wondered if a fight had broken out, while others commented on the massive man's intimidating aura, joking that even Ma Dong-wook would struggle against him. Questions quickly arose. Was this man even a hunter? After all, only hunters remained in Seoul now. A few muttered that if the B-rank wasn't careful, he'd be leaving in an ambulance. The B-rank hunter, growing angrier, demanded an apology. He reminded himself that he was no longer a lowly subordinate licking his boss's boots. He was an upper-tier B-rank now, and he wouldn't let anyone look down on him. Squaring his shoulders, he declared, "If you just stand there glaring, you should at least admit your fault and ask for forgiveness." But before he could finish speaking, the towering man suddenly opened his mouth. Sharp fangs gleamed as his eyes glowed a menacing red. In the next instant, he lunged forward and bit the hunter's head clean off. The surrounding hunters froze in horror, screams echoing through the hall as blood sprayed across the floor. The massive figure spat the blood aside, unfazed, as if such an act were entirely natural. Grinning wickedly, he released a terrifying aura that exploded outward in a violent shockwave. Hunters were hurled like ragdolls, slamming into nearby buildings, while cars flipped through the air under the sheer force. With a savage grin, the man declared, "Listen up, you lowly humans. From this moment on, I'll be hunting you down. I'll rip apart your flimsy skin and flesh with my teeth and claws." His voice dripped with murderous intent, his sharp fangs glinting under the red glow. Finally, he revealed his identity, the king of beasts, the Monarch of Fangs. "Try and stop me, if you dare," he growled, as a crimson aura flared violently around him. The scene then shifted to a quiet forest, where Jin-woo and Hae-in rested. Hae-in knelt by a stream, cupping her hands to drink. Jin-woo, standing behind her, smiled and said, "There's a hotel nearby that serves an amazing breakfast. How about we wash up and eat there?" "That sounds good," Hae-in replied warmly. "Let's go," Jin-woo said, as Kaisel appeared beside them, ready to carry his master. Surprised, Hae-in tilted her head. "Didn't you say it was nearby? Why do we need Kaisel?" Jin-woo chuckled. "Even if I run at full speed, it will take 5 minutes." Her eyes widened at the implication. Just how many kilometers can he run in 5 minutes? She wondered. The two were flying toward the hotel atop Kaisel's back. Meanwhile, at the Korean Hunter Association, Chairman Jin-chul received alarming news. An intruder had appeared outside their headquarters. His colleague rushed in, reporting casualties, though the numbers were still unconfirmed. Shocked, Jin-chul pressed his forehead with his hand. There should still be days left before the dungeon break. Dealing with the gate was already a headache, and now this random beast appears. He immediately asked if they had contacted Sung Jinwoo, but his staff replied they couldn't reach him. Resolved, Jin-chul muttered that he would handle the matter himself. Suddenly, another agent rushed in. A hunter has stepped forward to face the beast. Jin-chul's eyes lit up. "Sung Jinwoo." "No," the agent replied, "but a world-class hunter has appeared on the scene." The hunter was none other than Germany's Lennart Niermann. Standing before the Monarch of Fangs, Lennart wondered if he was facing his death, or if fate had led him to Seoul to stop the monster with his own 2 hands. Just then, a deep voice came from behind him. "Move. You're in my way." It was Thomas Andre, the Goliath himself, brushing past Lennart with ease. The world's strongest hunter now stood face to face with the Monarch of Fangs. Elsewhere, at the hotel, Jin-woo and Hae-in were eating breakfast when Jin-chul's call finally connected. Jin-chul asked why he couldn't reach Jin-woo earlier. Jin-woo calmly explained that he had been outside the service area until now. "There's a beast running rampant in Seoul," Jin-chul reported urgently. Jin-woo replied, "That's impossible. The dungeon break isn't due for a few more days. But Jin-woo confirmed it. Even worse, the creature wasn't just any beast. It had wiped out an entire guild in the blink of an eye. And Thomas Andre himself was now fighting it. Jin-woo froze. That didn't make sense. He had stationed shadow soldiers to tail Thomas and the other hunters, with orders to report anything unusual immediately. Yet not a single message had reached him. Strangely, he now sensed his shadows and soul weakening, their signals flickering as though being interfered with. Then came the most alarming notice. His designated shadows could no longer be found at all. Something was wrong, gravely wrong. Hae-in asked if the dungeon break had already occurred, but Jin-woo shook his head. No, it's something else. A powerful foe, a national-level hunter fighting it. And even my shadow's connection has been cut off. His eyes narrowed as a chilling realization dawned. Check if the beast has a shadow, he instructed Jin-woo. They may have hidden something colossal within an invisible shadow. Back at the association, the Monarch of Fangs stepped forward, his demonic grin spreading wide as a monstrous red aura burst from him. Behind him, a massive shadowy silhouette loomed like a nightmare given form. Hunters gasped as Thomas Andre, the Goliath, lowered his sunglasses and locked eyes with the beast. Looks like this wild animal doesn't know its place, he said coldly. A mad beast should be vanquished. That's a universal truth. His golden aura flared like a blazing sun, colliding with the Monarch's crimson power. The two clashed violently. The Monarch slashed with his claws, but Thomas didn't flinch. Countering, he delivered a crushing punch to the monster's face, staggering it. The Monarch retaliated with a fierce strike, yet Thomas stood unscathed. Seizing the moment, Thomas gripped the beast by the head and slammed it into the ground with devastating force. The impact shook the entire area, debris scattering like shrapnel. And with that, the chapter came to an earth-shattering close. The chapter opens with Hunter Choi Jong-in arriving on site, immediately asking about the progress of the evacuation. One of the hunters reports that they are still in the process of rescuing civilians trapped inside the nearby buildings. Jong-in then inquires which guilds are handling the situation. The hunter replies that the Fiend Guild and the White Tiger Guild have both been dispatched, adding that hunters from across the country have gathered because of the giant gate that appeared. Confidently, he assures Jong-in that the beast will be subdued in no time. Jong-in, however, can't hide his unease. He repeats the man's words in his mind. Subdued in no time? Clearly troubled. After all, even Thomas Andre, a national-level hunter, is currently engaged in battle with the mysterious beast. He comments on the colossal aura radiating through the area, noting that he has never felt such an overwhelming presence, not even during the Jeju Island raid. When he looks up, he sees a massive red aura emanating from the beast. Just what kind of monster is Thomas fighting? He wonders. The scene shifts to the intense confrontation between Thomas Andre and the Monarch of Fangs. The Monarch is sent crashing into a building after taking a devastating punch from Thomas, causing a violent explosion. A series of blasts soon follows from within the collapsing structure, catching Thomas off guard. The Monarch swiftly recovers and charges straight at him. The blow lands squarely in Thomas's abdomen, cracking the ground beneath him. But contrary to the Monarch's expectations, Thomas remains unmoved, unshaken. Before the Monarch can react, Thomas grabs him by the body, lifts him high, and slams his head into the ground, creating another earth-shaking explosion. Even with his head buried in the rubble, the Monarch manages to kick Thomas across the face, sending him flying. The Monarch grins wickedly as he rises again, staring at Thomas, who steadies himself mid-air with one hand. Yellow energy flares around Thomas's body as he growls. Reinforcement. Members of the White Tiger Guild, led by Baek Yoon-ho, finally arrive at the battlefield. Yoon-ho remarks that it looks like the real action is happening here and asks his team if they're ready. But before they can advance, a barrage of explosions shakes the area, startling him. Staring at the monstrous red aura, Yoon-ho realizes this must be the magic beast that was reported to have appeared. Then his eyes fall on the giant man facing the creature. That must be the world-renowned hunter, Goliath, Thomas Andre. Behind him, several hunters cheer for Thomas, shouting for him to kill the beast. Thomas, however, yells back at them. "You idiots, take cover, now." At that moment, the Monarch of Fangs turns toward them, his face dark and twisted with a monstrous grin. Yunho instantly senses danger and transforms into his beast form. Yet as the monarch's oppressive aura washes over him, fear grips his heart. For the first time, Baek Yunho feels like prey, a tiger standing before a monstrous predator born from darkness. His instincts scream at him to flee. His transformation begins to fade, his body trembling. I can't even look him in the eye, he realizes in terror. The monarch raises his hand, gathering a violent red aura. Cars and debris lift off the ground and, with a single wave, are hurled toward Thomas. Unfazed, Thomas smashes or deflects them all. When a car comes flying at him, he catches it easily. Suddenly, yellow energy envelopes the monarch, Thomas's power pulling him in. With a clenched fist, Thomas yanks the monarch toward him and drives him into the ground with a thunderous impact, unleashing a flurry of blows that pound the monarch relentlessly. But amid his furious strikes, Thomas feels something unsettling, his sense of victory slipping away, as though he's fighting a losing battle despite his strength. Charging another massive punch, Thomas lunges, only for the monarch to catch his fist mid-swing. Thomas's arm trembles. The monarch's hair slowly turns white, his form changing just like Yunho's transformation. With a menacing smirk, the monarch speaks. I'm surprised that a mere puppet of a fragment can wield such strength. But I've had enough of your petty tricks. White hair now covers his face, and his fangs grow sharper. He has become even more beast-like. With one hand, he crushes Thomas's fist. Are you afraid now? He taunts. The monarch's transformed presence overwhelms the area. Thomas, for all his power, suddenly feels small before him. Then comes a barrage of lightning-fast slashes, each one striking Thomas cleanly. Do you feel fear? Or have you already lost hope? The monarch sneers. The onlooking hunters are stunned. The mighty national-level hunter, Thomas Andre, is being completely overpowered. Suddenly, the monarch notices something, a faint shadow clinging to Thomas. There's a little rat hiding inside, he mutters. The monarch grabs Thomas by the neck and pulls out the hidden figure, a shadow soldier. What are you doing here, hiding in the shadows? He says mockingly, before crushing the soldier in his grip. Thomas collapses to his knees, weakened by the attack. Now then, the monarch says coldly, let's pick up where we left off. Since you're so confident in your strength, let's make this a battle of brute force. He grips Thomas's helmeted face and crushes it, only to realize that the armor is empty. Behind him, Thomas has already reappeared, grabbing the monarch's head and twisting it violently until it snaps. The monarch's body freezes for a moment, eyes wide open, and then, horrifyingly, the head turns back to its original position, as if nothing happened. Before Thomas can react, the monarch seizes his face with one hand, lifts him off the ground, and slams his head into the earth. Sorry, the monarch growls, but I'm starting to feel hungry. Just as he's about to strike again, a powerful green burst of magic energy hits him square in the face, sending him reeling backward. Startled, the monarch looks up to see German hunter Lennart Niermann in the distance, his arms glowing with transparent green gauntlets. I won't let you have your way, Lennart declares, standing defiantly as the chapter ends. The chapter opens with a dark silhouette standing amid the ruins, its body cloaked in a sinister dark red aura. It was the Monarch of Fangs, glaring down at hunter Lennart Niermann after surviving the latter's attack. Just standing before the beast made Lennart's entire body tremble. The sheer pressure of its presence seeped into his bones, making him question his very existence. From the ground, Thomas Andre, battered and kneeling, shouted hoarsely, "Run away, Lennart! If you stay here, you'll die." Lennart glanced at him, his face firm with resolve. "I know," he answered, "but I'm a hunter too." In his mind, he repeated those words. Even if this was his final hour, he had no regrets. An honorable death is better than a cowardly survival, he thought. He believed he had made the right choice. Over and over again, he told himself that. But as the Monarch of Fangs strode toward him, its dark aura surging like a storm, doubt began to creep into his heart. The closer it came, the heavier the air grew. He swallowed hard. Was this the wrong choice? Just as the monarch lunged, fangs bared to tear him apart. A shadow erupted from above, a massive wyvern cloaked in darkness, roaring as it collided with the monarch and dragged it away from the German hunter. It was Kaisel, the shadow wyvern of Sung Jinwoo. Lennart froze in disbelief as the two monsters clashed in midair. The monarch slashed wildly with its claws, cutting through Kaisel's shadowy body. With a final strike, the wyvern exploded in a storm of black mist and smoke. The monarch grinned until the dust began to settle. A shadowed figure emerged from the haze in front of him. In the blink of an eye, Sung Jinwoo appeared, his foot snapping up in a powerful kick that connected cleanly with the monarch's skull, slamming it into the ground and shattering the earth with a thunderous explosion. As Jin-woo landed, Lennart stared in awe. "Please," Jin-woo said firmly, "I's never leaving the fallen monarch. Take Thomas somewhere safe." Without hesitation, Lennart obeyed, helping the wounded Thomas retreat. The Monarch of Fangs rose from the crater, fury twisting his monstrous features. "So it's true," he snarled. "A human carries the scent of that shadow bastard." His rage boiled over. The beast's face fully transformed into that of a feral wolf, red eyes glowing, energy crackling violently across his fangs. From afar, Lennart turned back once more, assuring Jin-woo, "Don't worry about us." Jinwoo's gaze hardened as he faced the beast. He could feel the monarch's bloodlust burning like fire. And worse, he could sense that the creature was not alone. The monarch growled, "How can a mere human body generate the power of a supreme being to this extent?" Shadows shifted around him. One by one, other figures began to emerge, the other monarchs. A voice echoed behind him. "Perhaps the architect found a way," said one. "It's been a long time since the Shadow Monarch made his deal with him." From the ground behind Jin-woo, another being surfaced, its body dark and skeletal. It grinned, asking in a chilling tone, "Mind if I eat the human's corpse? I want to know what another monarch tastes like." Moments later, a shadowy woman rose from the earth, her cloak swirling like smoke with a sickly greenish glow. Mist and debris circled her feet as pairs of luminous eyes flickered within her darkness. Her presence radiated poison and death. Jin-woo stood firm, purple energy coursing from his body as the air trembled under the combined power of his foes. One after another, his system registered their names. Sillad, the king of snowfolk, monarch of frost. Rakan, the king of beasts, monarch of fangs. Querehsha, the queen of insects, monarch of plagues. In an instant, Jin-woo found himself surrounded. Their combined auras surged, rising into the sky like a storm of chaos. The pressure alone shattered nearby buildings, and the entire city quaked as if on the verge of collapse. Jin-woo raised his hand, his voice cold and commanding. "Come forth." From the shadows, his army erupted into existence. Igris and Iron charged towards Sillad, while Jima and Tank rushed Rakan. Baru and Greed leapt toward Querehsha, their weapons drawn and ready. Rakan smirked. "So this is your new shadow army, huh?" Sillad inhaled deeply, frost gathering at his lips. Jinwoo's eyes widened. With a roar, Sillad exhaled a blizzard, an icy storm so absolute that it froze the very air itself. The breath rolled across the battlefield like a silver hurricane, crystallizing everything in its path. Jinwoo's shadows were engulfed, frozen mid-charge in solid ice. Even Jin-woo felt the numbing chill crawl toward him, but he blocked it just in time, crossing his twin daggers before him. Sillad's cold voice echoed through the frozen field. "They may be many, but they're nothing more than a disorderly mob. These soldiers of yours, Shadow Monarch, can't move even a single inch inside my frost prison." The battlefield had become a frozen wasteland, glittering under the pale light of destruction. Querehsha smiled, tilting her head towards Sillad. "Tell me, did you freeze my children too?" she purred. "I was just about to have a reunion with them." She tapped lightly on one of the ice blocks. Sillad's expression hardened. "I can't believe you thought you could stop us with mere shadows. How absurd." He looked at Jin-woo, his cold tone laced with mockery. "You shouldn't underestimate us. Perhaps you haven't even fully absorbed the power of the Shadow Monarch yet. He may have been the greatest among us, but you are far from his level." Jin-woo glanced down at his frozen dagger. Then, slowly, he tightened his grip and crushed the ice effortlessly. A dark, fierce light burned in his eyes as he spun the dagger and pointed it directly at Sillad. "You," Jin-woo said coldly. No matter what happens, you're going down.